energizing. It's interesting how that always comes delayed. Really energizing in terms of our goal as a conference and as an organization. IAOHRA set up this conference so that we could inspire, stir our souls to lead with infinite hope, to stimulate our thinking about crafting a new human rights agenda. I certainly feel that that's been the case. And I invite you to say if you feel that way and what you've thought about the conference. I know we have an overall evaluation, but feel free to use the chat. And I just want to take the opportunity to thank all of you for taking the time to be with us. We know that one of the challenges of doing virtual meetings is that you are not in a physical place that can keep you insulated from phone calls, emails, and just the physical connection to our everyday work. And so it makes it more challenging. But I think those who have made that effort, all of you here, it has been a powerful experience, as powerful as it can be when it's virtually. And I feel certainly just inspired by what I've heard today and just amazed at the information that's been provided. So I want to just say that, of course, you know, this stuff happens only as a result of a ton of work by so many people. And I have to return to thanking our conference committee of IAOHRA, led by Jim Stowe. Really has been a collective team effort to make all of this happen, to bring our wonderful speakers, to create the agenda that we had, and to make it happen. And so that dedication of time, you know, is not easy to do, to carve out. And it shows this, not only the dedication to our mission, but the recognition of how important it is to connect at this level. I can assure you I would have been fully busy, as all of you would have been today, without this, but it would not have been hitting our souls, our sense of mission, stimulated our thinking in the way it has. And I think that this is the value of IAOHRA. And I will venture to say that, you know, we set out a pretty ambitious agenda at the start of all of this. We talked about, we really wanted to build that new agenda. And we were started off by Reverend Lawson, and I think his really carrying on the wisdom and sharing the wisdom of the many leaders before us, the movement before us, who have lived their entire lives committed to this work. And then being able to get into the nitty-gritty of, you know, all the issues that we're facing. What I heard was just the amazing data about how far we have to go in terms of wealth equity to overcome the damage of the past, in terms of having the kind of racial equity in housing, of wealth, of investments in our communities and in our ability to have the security of a home, being able to pass on that wealth multi-generationally. We're not there yet by a long shot. So that was an important panel, as well as really important data to share. And then we talked about one of the hot topics of our time, critical race theory, which really is a symbol of the polarization that we're experiencing right now. But it's also a powerful tool, and Dr. Cameron Jones and Dr. Justin Coles showed us that, of how that is so critical to changing the mindset of our communities and to educate our communities so that we can really think of ourselves in a more complete, in a more just way, not just now, but historically, and how critical that is to really moving us to the next phase of where we need to be as a society, as a world. That is a huge battle, and I think the knowledge that was shared is going to be so useful to us. The discussion about what's happening in the Twin Cities and Minneapolis, St. Paul, and in Minnesota since the murder of George Floyd, and the movement across the country, the spontaneous protests in communities that many have never demonstrated before, and the sea change that's presented, but seeing the actual challenges that are still happening in the Twin Cities. And more than anything, just the lovely relationships between the Attorney General there, along with the local commissioner and the activists who have been at it for so long and have such amazing wisdom. And I highlighted the challenges still to go there, but really something that gave me tremendous hope and insight into what is happening there. And I dare say it's probably what's happening in many of our communities right now. So that was another shot of inspiration. Today, I hope you had a chance to connect with your regional committees, your other representatives from different agencies within your geographic region. And I want to say that I hope that that all of you will see that as an opportunity to keep this connection going until our next conference, to be able to gather with your colleagues in your region to share what's come out of this, what's going on, share your problems as well as your successes. And through that, we're going to be stronger by sharing that information. We talked about where we are in terms of equal employment opportunities with the chair of the EEOC, Charlotte Burrows, and really highlighting some of the big challenges around artificial intelligence and what challenges that brings to us in terms of preventing the inequities that can be replicated and or new ones created through the use of technology in hiring and promotions. Very relevant to my jurisdiction, which is embarking upon that, and I know that it's the same for many of you. Having Assistant Secretary McCain as well as Lisa Rice really show the opportunities and resources for really pushing forward the fair housing work, affirmatively furthering fair housing that's really been stalled over the past in the past administration. Very exciting what there is to be done and what resources there are to tap into. Amazing work that's been done to get us to this point. So that's very exciting, and we know that that is such a fundamental need for our communities, housing and employment. For those of us who are able to join the discussion about another dimension of fair housing that we often don't hear about, which is affordable water and related environmental issues. We had Professor Martha Davis and Alice B. Jennings really shed some light about what's been happening in other communities and what can be done to take on an issue that often gets ignored. And it's so vital to every single human being in terms of having access to clean, affordable water, something we've taken for granted. But clearly, you know, if Flint didn't wake you up, there certainly are many other cases. It's not an isolated incident in terms of the kinds of discrimination and disparate racial impacts that water policies have had. So that's an entire new arena that simply asking the questions in your jurisdiction can help to move forward equity in those arenas. But that's going to be something we're going to have on our agenda for meetings to come. Wonderful opportunity to hear from former IAOHRA presidents, Leon Russell, Beverly Watts, and as well as Robin Kelly. You know, that was such a great opportunity to hear the kinds of challenges we're facing around voting rights, law enforcement issues, and it gave me the idea that, you know, as our jurisdictions go through redistricting, we really have an opportunity to make sure that there aren't racially disparate impacts that are happening to the best of our ability. And that means, as Beverly was saying, you don't necessarily do it yourself. It's bringing the partners to the table or educating our partners in the community about the impacts. So really a wonderful discussion with so many, I think, challenges for us, as well as agendas for our human rights future. And then this afternoon, hearing from Julie Nelson and her colleagues and other counterparts from around the country on how we utilize our governments to really advance racial equity in a comprehensive way. It's something that I know we're doing in LA County. And Gare was a huge support in moving us forward. I think we have an opportunity in many of our jurisdictions to really take it to a whole nother level of ensuring that racial equity lenses are put on our every operation throughout our governments, not just around addressing anti-discrimination laws. So I'm sure there was a tremendous amount of excitement and ideas coming out of that. And last but not least, a discussion about how the global human rights system that we are a part of, how that needs to connect to our state and local government agencies, and what advantages that brings, what challenges there are. We have some upcoming opportunities to really ensure that our international community can help to hold the United States government accountable for our human rights record and help to facilitate resources and support to our agencies in that work. I will just tell you that it's been such a wonderful time to spend with all of you. I never imagined that we could have the kind of energy and engagement that we have seen by doing it virtually. But it always surprises me, but at the same time, it heartens me to know that we can do this as long as we have to. But also, I'm very confident that the next time that we meet as a country, as a national, international organization, that we're going to do it in person. And that's my sincere hope, my belief, and we're planning for that to happen in LA. And I want you to clear your August calendars to make sure that you will be able to join us. Again, we are here for you. We want to continually strengthen our organization. We recognize we're in a new era. We have to be particularly strong because we have challenges to meet that are really ones we haven't seen in decades. The rise in white nationalism and white supremacy and the forces that have gathered around that, and the way that the internet has really facilitated the polarization and the ignorance that we are facing in our communities and nationally. We have to take those up as an organization, both nationally and locally. I know that's something we're going to be talking about, how we can play a role, but we're dealing with obviously an international corporations that are really affecting our interactions through the internet. And so I think we're going to have to address it on a national level. I want to say locally, it's where it happens. So at the same time, we have to train and educate our communities to stand up to hate, to not be passive bystanders to the racism that people see in their workplaces and in schools and stores and stadiums, public transportation, wherever they are. And I'm wearing a little pin here that says "Courage is contagious" because, as well as the coronavirus being contagious and its variants, the truth is that the willingness to stand up and to take a chance and to see that others are doing that, it often takes that first person to get the ball rolling, to send the signal that we're not going to be passive in addressing these concerns. And when people see other people doing it, they find the courage to do the same. So let's not forget how contagious courage can be. And let's continue to build our communities, to build IAOHRA. And by that, I mean, join IAOHRA. Look out for the opportunities to join as a region, to connect as a region, and to be with us and take action with us as we confront the challenges that stand in between us and human rights for everyone in our country and in our world. Thank you. Thank you for the work you do every day. And thank you for the time you've taken to be with us today. And stay connected. Go to our website, let us know what you're doing. what you're wanting to see, any new ideas that you have about how we tackle these issues, and really think about how you can play a role in our next conference, what you'd like to share, what you'd like to see there. We're building it now, so it's the time to do it. With that, I'm going to wish all of you a safe time as we confront variants of the virus. So asking you to take care of yourself, your community, stay engaged, stay strong, and we look forward to our next meeting. Thanks, everybody.